Fade in. We faded.
Oh my
we
goodness.
Faded, and
I
we reset.
feel fading.
Guys, raise your hand if you can hear us.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Stick them
I
up.
can
Hands up.
hear us. I can hear us. Look
Are
at
we
these.
hurt? As if for real.
Look at this.
Look at this.
You cannot read probably, but
Oh,
it's
you
green
Can you
and
read?
red. Green, red, green, red.
They can read that it's green and red.
Can
Green
you
and
read
red is
this?
good.
There's George.
Captain
George.
Ram Crown can hear us. Let's go.
Excellent.
Everybody's
Excellent.
here.
This is what we like to hear.
We are heard.
So we have
George can read.
Never Have I Ever. And we have
Ta-da.
little signs that are adorable, and I'm really happy with them.
They're so cute. They're actually like so
She
cute.
whipped these up so fast.
Well, it's not like, I mean, they are behind the scenes, guys. These are bendy straws with little things. So,
Nebula. Hello.
are you cooking anything fantastic?
Oh my gosh.
What,
I haven't had dinner yet.
what Louisiana meal are you
Yeah,
prepping
everybody
right
shut
now?
up. My show's
Yeah.
on.
I'm sorry to ruin the magic behind our little signs, but I was just making sure if you wanted to make a sign for your friends.
We
You
were
knew.
walking over to the studio and we could see Bryn in her kitchen. I was like, what is she hot gluing?
Yeah.
Like right now. Because I also didn't know, I didn't know that we were doing this. So I was like, what could possibly have taken her away to hot glue at this exact moment?
Green
What?
grapes for dinner.
Green grapes.
What?
That's fine Louisiana cuisine right there.
Well, I don't know if that's really a dinner. Isn't that mostly water?
Sweet water.
Sweet water?
And skin.
And
Hey, don't say
skin. That's what I like to hear.
Hey, take that back.
There's nothing more appealing than skin.
I love skin for dinner.
Yeah, yeah. So Nebula, I hope you're enjoying your green skinny grapes. But
You're getting skinny grapes.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
You're gonna try to keep a 1007 with trample
No.
on the board for longer than one step.
No.
Fellas, Link, I know about this one. Link, I get this joke. Bryn sure didn't. I can explain it to you. Do you care? It's Magic the Gathering.
Oh, is it Magic? Go for it.
Okay, it is. They did a Final Fantasy tie-in, and they announced the cards today. And there's the green
That's
cactus.
really
It's a silly card. It's the green cactus guy
I'll put
from
it in
Final
there.
Fantasy. He's just like an icon of the game,
Oh,
and his
okay.
thing. He does 7. He's like a 1/7 or something like that. But when he attacks, he gets plus 9,999 attack to his. So he just becomes a 10,000 strength. So it's just a very silly card that just is a funny looking cactus that can do 10,000 damage to one person. What was that?
Sometimes I get lost in the Discord and I know that it's in there, but I can't find the channel and I just keep scrolling and I just never see it. But what I was gonna say is that I know that Corey put it in the Magic the Gathering chat.
I did. It is in the Discord. If you join our Discord, you can see it.
He's
With Logan
actually very
first of
cute.
No Logan tonight. No, I didn't. We haven't put him in the newbie corner. No.
Oh.
Speaking of Logan, and speaking of this, before we pivot too hard, small programming announcement that
Giant program. This is not how you sell a show. What are you doing?
I'm not selling a show. I'm selling a pushback. Then I was gonna get
It's
to the
a
next
show!
thing. So first step first. Secrets we announced would be coming back this Wednesday. We are going to have to push it just a few weeks more. There's some stuff going on in personal lives. I don't want to give details because it's not my info to share. Everything's okay. Everyone's doing a lot better than they were before, honestly. So, but due to this and some scheduling stuff, we're going to push it back till about the beginning of March. I'm not going to give a specific date quite yet. But in the meantime, this coming Monday, Logan will be on this. This is the transition from Logan. Is we're going to be doing a Secrets Between the Stars Starfinder mini-series, aiming for about 4 episodes long. Sully will be on it. It'll be Sully, Marcus, Logan, and AJ. He's making his Starfinder
I've never
breach.
gotten to play with AJ.
That's true.
I've DM'd for AJ, but I've never gotten to.
You've been so close to AJ this whole
I've
time.
been so close to AJ. Me and AJ are like this.
And it'll be Logan's first show, and so it'll be kind of interesting. He's kind of jumping into some heavy hitters.
Yes, he's also because
So-
this will be a level 13 adventure, so
Oh
he's
my
going
God.
big, and then it also will be
You're so mean. mean?
Well, and Secret's normal.
So
They're like
evil.
11. They're like level 11. Look, to praise Logan because he is my friend and he's a great guy. When we told him he would be on Secrets, he had like already bought the whole core rulebook and like read most of it.
Oh,
Like
nice.
he is like there were things and rules he was saying that I didn't realize, and I was like, yeah, man, right on.
Yeah.
Like, you know more. You've got like the handbook right there.
I've never done that.
Shout out to Archives of Nethys. Absolute
right,
heroes.
right.
But all that to say, Secrets will be returning relatively soon. And Link, thank you. Everything is all good. Like there's nothing bad happening at all. It's just we have to push it back a little bit. But we will get a mini series coming up next week for sure. And we'll have a trailer for that kind of coming up the next few days as well. So that's it. That's my programming note. Programming note.
That's
I saw the
Noit.
word boy and then I
Noit.
said noit.
I will be cooking tilapia with herbe de Provence, seasoning tomorrow with steamed green beans and the roasted
you?
crispy golden potatoes.
This is
Tomorrow evening. This
such
is,
a hard pivot from skin grapes.
This is a very hard pivot. So
I'm so hungry.
I have a Pokeball you could have eaten
No,
some.
I'll eat when I'll actually
I'll eat
cook
when
things.
I die.
And Link is throwing a pizza in the oven. And you know what? I get that, man. Amen.
Just like frisbee it in there. It'll be fine. Yeah. If it's frozen, it'll probably be fine.
Honestly.
I am super excited about the Starfinder show. That'll be great. That's the first time that AJ hardly ever plays.
The only time he
Really?
played was when he did that Sentima thing
And
Malevolence.
Malevolence.
Like those are the
Yeah.
two I can think of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's always he always used to complain to me. He was like, I don't like playing because I want to be in control of what happens. And I'm like, too bad! You'll get used to it.
Well, and he is so great at it.
Yeah.
Really
Well, and it's a fun time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he realizes that, like, generally it's pretty relaxing to be on the player side.
Yeah. You don't have
That's
to
like a
worry.
thing that, like, you find though is that there's like typically like people really strongly prefer one side or
Right.
the other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can't imagine strongly preferring GMing. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Like, do not get me wrong, but I was stressed out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
I like GMing and playing in equal parts because it is fun to play a goofy guy every now and then. But it is also because I just like writing, so I also just like writing the worlds and stuff like that. So it is like
I just
half
have
and
like
half.
a really small brain. So I don't know how people GM because I'm like constantly panicking the whole time. And like
Yeah.
if they're like, what's your character's name? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm on the seat. Have you seen that video where this guy's interviewing people on the street and he goes up to them like really like aggressively
the
and he's
Billy
like,
on the Street
name
guy.
a woman.
Yeah.
That's me when I'm playing Pathfinder. So if I were if I were a GMing, that would be me the whole time. Where
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know the names, I don't know the places.
that's sometimes what it feels like. Is that
Yeah.
somebody's
That's
like there were so many things on Malevolence that I remember thinking just like, yeah, they can do that. And in my head I was just like, that's a problem that I'll figure out later. And then I'd open up my notes later in the week to prepare for the next session. I'd be like, why did I let them do that? Why did I say that was okay?
That happens
Like,
so often.
Yep.
That's like that's an issue of your future me.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
future me's
sure.
like, damn it! What did I do? Why did I let them have a pet monkey? I don't know how to run that.
I'm sorry to hear you've been suffering from insomnia though. That's that's really
jeez.
tough. That's really tough.
Corey's on me to fix my sleep schedule.
Sully's sleep schedule is so bad.
No,
Sully's sleep
that's
schedule
fair.
is so
It's funny
bad.
because I'm like, I get a lot of sleep. I sleep a lot. And then Sully will come over to my house. And we will chat.
We were pulling
Yeah.
up today, and because Corey, I rode with Corey, and he was like, "You are not staying until 1 a.m. to talk to Bryn."
It's like, if you do that, she's bringing you home. I'm not doing that. I have to go to bed.
Okay, so hold on with the WWE thing, because somebody else
shut up!
brought it up. Is that Netflix has finally caught me. I've been using my parents' Netflix account, and I finally got that notification that's like, you're not where you're supposed to be.
Gotcha.
And so now I am behind.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get spoils on like.
I know. And I've seen a couple of like little spoilers in the wind, like on social media and stuff that I'm trying to scroll past. And I think that there's a lot of stuff going on with Liv Morgan, which everybody knows, whom everybody knows is the love of my life. Or they're just serving me what they know that I like. And maybe she's not actually doing that much, but I'm just getting like every second that she's on the
also
screen.
have started getting videos, and it's your fault.
Yep.
So,
That's because I sent you guys one.
I know. She
Because
sent
I didn't know if
me
you'd
videos.
seen her yet.
I had not. Well, I might have. Actually, you sent me a different video previously.
Yeah.
And I had
Oh,
seen
I
one
think,
of
yes,
them, yeah.
you're right.
And
Because I sent you
now,
just the one the
now
other
they
day.
know. Now they're like, wait a minute, 2 videos. That's
Whoa.
That's too much.
That's
You
a
must
lot.
You're
be
in.
obsessed.
That's a lot.
You love these wrestle boys.
Yes. Okay,
I
guys.
sent them one of, it's like her mocking the crowd for cheering on the other girl she's fighting. She goes like, "Rah, rah, rah," and then she goes,
yeah.
like just
And then
slaps the
her
other.
right in the face. I'll have
awesome.
you know, I went to play, what is it, Boffer with Derp? Boffer?
No clue what you're talking about.
Offer.
It's like LARPing, but you actually hit people.
Oh, he's tried getting me to go to this before. It's
so
like with the
I've
foam
done-
swords
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. And it's honestly, I think I would really like it if I weren't surprisingly. I don't know if this is like an autism thing or what, but like I cannot raise my hand against another person. He wanted me to hit him with this foam sword. He was wearing padding, and he would be like, "Hiya!" and do that. And so I'd do the motion, and as soon as I got to him, it was like, ding! And he's like, yeah, but like follow through. Like actually hit. You're not going to hurt me. It's a foam sword. And I'd do it again. I'd be like, "Hi!" And he was like, what is wrong with you? We tried it for like 30 minutes.
Oh, thank you, Mancha, for subbing.
Mancha, back in the day. I was actually, some of these questions today, I was thinking, because we're doing, eventually, we're going to do Never Have I Ever. And a couple of the questions, I'm like, man, this is Mancha. So anyways, speaking of that, Boffer was really fun, but not for me. I did enjoy watching though. If you guys ever want to go, it's like a fun
I'm trying
time.
to think of
Like,
what word it might actually be and not boffer.
I think it is Boffer.
No, it's Boffer.
Is
He
it
said
actually?
Boffer to me before.
Is it boffer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that this was one of your adjacent
Yes.
words.
Yes.
No, it is. No, I'll give her this one.
Boffer is a weird enough word
Mhm.
that for me, it's very
What does
easy
it
for me
mean?
to remember.
Oh.
I don't know.
What, look like French? I don't know.
Boffer.
Yeah, see?
Oh, now I know.
Boffer.
Buffy. As you say.
As you say. Yes.
Why is it a stereotype for French people to say "as you say"?
As you
Is
say.
it?
To be fair, Hema?
Hema?
Hematoma? Is also a thing that...
Hemoglobin.
Camellia.
Are we doing okay?
Yeah, we're good.
That was good. No, that was a good little bit, guys.
It's also a
Yeah,
thing
bring
which
it
is
in.
just beating on each other with actual... Oh yeah, I have seen actually that as well, and I don't think I would like it anymore. But
Fencing.
fencing is not quite the same. That has skill.
Like in Parent Trap.
And this one is not. I've seen videos of
Lindsay
this.
Logan.
Logan?
Lindsay
Lindsay Logan!
I lost it. I'm just thinking about my friend Logan.
I was thinking like it's like a Hulk Hogan, but like
Wait,
Lindsay
should
Logan.
we call Logan real quick? You think he
Things
could come?
happen.
You think he could, if he left right now, then how long would we have to wait?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half, roughly.
Sometimes I miss him.
Well, not so. You won't so far because he's gonna be on a show.
Yeah, you'll see
I
him
will
Monday.
never have to again.
You'll see him Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Well, have you guys? Never have I ever
Oh, what's down?
rage quit a board game.
Rage quit.
No,
Oh, look at us.
I have not.
Look at us
I don't
doing
think I
things.
have.
I do
I
mentally
have
check
been
out.
close. Yeah, I've been really close. And I don't know if I have bowed out where I'm like, oh man, I've got to go, you know, like, because I'll have all these parties at my house. Me, raging party maniac over here. But I have a lot of like board games parties over at my house, and sometimes I will hate the board game so much. I'm like, man, can you take over for me? That slap game
The slap.
where it's like so aggressive. This is again the same
Slapjack?
thing. No, the one where it's like cow moose pizza.
Oh,
I don't know what's happening.
no, that is. Oh my gosh, what's it called?
And you have to
She
like,
really got it. That's actually.
and you
what
have
it's
to like slap, and
Pizza
you
cat something.
something like that. I don't know. There is a pizza in it. I'm pretty sure.
Pizza cat goat cheese.
Oh.
Words.
Is that it?
It's like
Words.
4 random things.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think it's pizza cat.
And not
goat
only
cheese.
is it
it's
loud,
something like that.
Yeah, it's
Somebody
loud
understands.
and fast and aggressive, and I don't like any of those. So I started playing it, and then I was like, "You can take over for me."
Betrayal at the House on the Hill is a great game. That was my favorite game for a very long time. We have a friend who will literally walk away from the table if I become the betrayer. What'd you do?
What'd you do?
You
man?
shouldn't do
why?
that.
What?
Now hold on.
Why?
I want to be
What
clear. That's not very nice.
Wait, how do you know?
But
that
what did you
betrayer?
do?
Also, why are you getting raged at Monopoly? Like people get bored with Monopoly then leave.
Oh,
what's the what?
No.
You haven't
You
had the
should
truth.
play with
That's
me.
not true.
You should
People
play
get
with
mad
me
at
and
Monopoly.
I just like Monopoly.
I
I love Monopoly.
Especially like I rarely played like the actual physical Monopoly.
Oh, the
I had
physical
like
one
a
is
well,
great.
because we had a kitty one when I was growing
Yeah.
up. We had Disney Princess Monopoly, and you had like castles.
Probably just as
instead.
intense.
It was,
I mean,
especially
still-
when it was two sisters around the same age who were all looking for an excuse to tear each other's hair out. But we also had it on an iPad, like a digital version of it, and I do remember some of those games ending early, especially once you're at like late game and it's like I've already mortgaged like 3/4 of my properties. I've lost. Like,
This
can
is
you give
such-
it a rest?
This
And
is
you'd be like,
such
"Can
a
you
fun
take your
kids game.
turn?"
But you're also 8 years old.
You're 8 years old with your castle mortgaging your castle.
You
So this is a really good.
mortgage that castle.
I said the words "I like Monopoly" and then like there's like 4 chats immediately that were like, "Nah, I hate Monopoly."
Nobody
No,
likes
I
Monopoly.
don't- you
Monopoly's
like
never
Monopoly?
fun.
I like Monopoly. It's
I like
fun.
Monopoly.
Thank
I
you,
like
Bryn.
Monopoly.
Nobody
I don't know
plays
if I've
Monopoly.
ever met somebody who's like, oh man,
I like Monopoly.
favorite board game.
I
Monopoly.
also, well, it's not my
It's
favorite.
not my favorite, but I like playing it.
I like Monopoly, and I also like Risk for the same reason. In
I've
that
never finished a Risk game. Now, that's not necessarily a rage quit. It's just that everybody just is like,
we should
We
play
should
together.
go home.
I love Risk. I
I've
would
never been
absolutely
able to
play.
get a
I
group to
never-
sit all the way through it.
Risk is one of the ones I've like kind of mentally checked out on because there's always a point where I realize I'm gonna lose no matter what I do, and I'm like, well, I'm
Well,
kinda
then you
done.
have to. But most of Risk, I like Risk a lot because it's mostly diplomacy.
Yeah.
So, like, you can get a lot done if you are playing the game with the people you're playing instead of just playing the board game.
Mm.
So, like, it is a lot of, like, we're gonna be friends, and then you betray them midway through, and then they hate you forever.
I'm not good at schmoozing. That's my
No,
issue.
you're not.
It's my downfall.
It's
of Risk.
okay. You just don't have believable teammate yet. You don't have to schmooze. I just have to take advantage of you.
Okay, good. That makes sense.
Yeah, we're a bunch of Magic the Gathering players. We take everything too competitively.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah. So I walked away, but I don't really know. And subtly, I'm sure they noticed, but it's okay. Well, I guess this would really only, okay, never have I ever flipped a table.
No.
You haven't ever? What are you doing with your life, Corey? You're
You
like the
haven't
only-
either.
I thought this
hell?
would be something you would have done just as a meme.
No,
Don't you? You
I
do
don't
this
think
all the
I
time.
should.
I don't. I do that all the time. But I don't actually do it. Like I mimic it.
I feel like you
I
have
don't
missed
think
out.
I've actually done it, unless I did it as a kid.
I've like punched the table and then it like moves around a lot. We have to spin a minute to fix it. But I've never like actually, because it's like we've all put too much. If it's just me playing the game, then I'm like, whatever, I'll flip it. But if it's like me with a bunch of other people, then I'm not gonna ruin their time too.
It feels like something you would do. I can't believe you haven't done it. Just out of a meme. Like, I can just imagine, like, pieces going everywhere.
There's those videos where people will like finish a puzzle and then somebody will come up and just like completely destroy it, and those get me angry because I'm like that gives me the same like agita as like flipping a table, or I'm like that's just mean and unnecessary.
Okay, never have I ever played a game for more than 6 hours straight. That's when the Risk
Straight.
comes in. Risk I've played for more than 6 hours.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not counting like D&D
You
in
can count
this.
D&D.
If we count
Yeah.
D&D, then
Oh,
I
then
guess.
definitely.
Definitely for
But-
D&D. You've played more D&D more than 6 hours?
Yeah, then you know what? Those stop being fun around hour 4.
My freshman year of college
sounds
went crazy, dude.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gosh.
and then It maybe not quite 6 hours, but I think it's close. But we have those. It's made by Plaid Hat Games. It's Forgotten Waters.
Forgotten Waters.
The pirate game.
Oh yeah.
That was close.
That was close to 6 hours.
It was close to 6 hours. That one's. We should bring that over. You would love this game. It's so fun. It's like.
I've played DDR for 6 hours straight. Are your bones okay?
Oh my god.
You were so sweaty.
Ow.
Right?
Dehydrated by the end of that.
That's awesome. See, this is why me and Mantra are friends. Because that's something I aspire to do in my life. We should do this when we go to Japan. Also, Mantra, you should come to Japan again with us. They
Join
went
us.
for their honeymoon.
Yeah.
And we would get our butts handed to us in Japan, and I think that would be great. We could play for 6 hours, and maybe, I don't know, we'd pass out. Honestly, at that point,
yeah.
I'm a little bit too old to be doing that. But
That's so real.
Yeah, you know what? I get that.
Forgotten Waters is like, it's like if you played like a game of D&D Pathfinder, something like that, and it had a GM, like it ran itself. So everybody can be a character, and like for Forgotten Waters, you're all pirates. And there's like 6 stories that they have that you can play, and you run it on like a computer or a tablet, so it's fully voice acted. And then like you got all this stuff, and like there's this story, and
that's
like
kind of
there's
cute.
everybody has their own, for the pyro one, everybody has like their own position on the ship. So it's like you're the navigator, and you're the whatever, and you're like such and such.
You
Like,
load the cannons.
It's so much. It's so much fun.
It's fun.
It's really really cute.
The voice acting is also good because it's Christopher Sabat, who is
That is a name.
he is
Wow.
well
Isn't
I
it,
don't
though?
I don't know what you would know. He is Vegeta and Piccolo in Dragon Ball, and he's also Zoro in One Piece. He's like he's a very big like anime voice actor, and he's just a good voice actor in general.
Yeah.
So like he does a great job with it.
It's genuinely like a 10. It's some of the most fun board gaming that we've had. Whenever we've done it, we've made it like a whole party where we'll get like pirate snacks and we'll do like the whole thing, because it is hours. We got to have played for nearly 6 hours. Or then they have one that's like TTRPG themed or whatever. And that one's called Freelancers. We played that for like a whole day. Doing the opening story. Those are so much fun.
That's what I do for Risk, is that we'll get like the music theme
Oh,
going,
yeah,
and then we'll all like, and you pretty play out your part. Like it's not just like sitting around a table. A little bit, you're kind of a dictator somewhere, and it's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so much. We gotta bring that over. You'd like that. It's super cool because you also get like your own sheep, and you have your own backstory that you get to unlock as you go, and like more personal. You can everybody gets their own. You get like the story ending, but everybody gets a personal ending based on how good they did. So you can get like a failure, success, or critical success based off how many of like your own private tasks that you did, and it's like a Mad Libs to do your backstory. It's super cute. It's really just so fun. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. 10 out of 10.
I tried DDR once a few months ago, and it's easier when I was 18 and in shape. That's probably fair.
Yeah, I've only seen extremely skinny people play it.
There's a Dave & Buster's up in Gainesville, and they have one up there, and it's pretty fun. They also have one of those VR lightsaber ones, which is fun, except for that the VR headset's in a Dave & Buster's, so you don't really want to put it on. So I'm like, I like the idea of it. When they first opened, I went and did it, and it was a lot of fun, although it's very difficult.
But now it's been like 3 years.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to put it on. I mean, such is life a little bit.
If you open up video games, I can confidently say that I've at least spent one day in my life playing just Sims 4 the entire time.
Oh, yeah. When Tears of the Kingdom came out.
I love that game.
When Tears of the Kingdom came out, I was playing that all day.
I loved Sims 4.
Okay, never have I ever purposefully teamed up against someone in a competitive board game.
What? Yeah, it's Magic the Gathering.
That's how you, is there another way to play?
Well, I guess that's
sorry, are you not supposed to do that?
I didn't realize that. I guess I haven't really watched much Magic. I do this in cards.
I do this in just about any game that I can. If that means that I'll win, like, is that not how you play?
Yeah,
I guess
man, child, that's just Commander. That is just Commander. Yeah.
That's Commander.
Okay, never have I ever held a grudge over a board game.
Held a grudge? I don't.
You guys are so.
I don't think.
I'm
Well,
like,
I
don't
think
know.
Sully has.
I think
Okay,
that
first
maybe
of all,
I have.
we also can include Blood on the Clock Tower in this.
Okay.
So, because that's technically a board game.
Still
I
have
definitely.
it. I still have it.
I have definitely.
I don't. Held a grudge is such a strong term. There's definitely been things that have like ticked me off, but at the end of the day, I think I've played with all of those people again.
It doesn't mean I haven't played with them. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just means I've held
You
a
hold a grudge from game to game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, I'm even questioning Corey over there. But
I-
you know,
I truly, when a game's done, it's done, then I play another one. It's a different thing in my brain.
that's a really good way to think about it, though. That is a really good thing about it. Let's see here. Never have I ever had a real argument with a friend over a game.
Real argument with a friend.
Not really, no.
I kind of feel like I don't know if I have about the game.
Yeah, like about the game, no. There's been arguments that have been like adjacent
Yeah.
to the game, but not like
And like, but
the game itself.
But for like type of play style, yes.
Yeah.
I have had like maybe not as comfortable discussions
Yeah.
about a
Right.
game or if like something happened during the game. But I don't know if I've ever had like we had like an argument or a
Right.
fight.
But we also are not real arguers. So
No,
like
no.
for me, a real I'm sure people, even if they saw what
Yeah.
I consider to be an argument with someone,
Yeah.
would be like, well,
I've definitely had to have like a talk with somebody before about like something that happened in a game.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Which is saying something that because I'm not a very big confrontation person.
So Link, yeah, that's basically how I feel. It's just like kind of, I don't know, not really.
It'd fall closer to I haven't than I have, but
Mm-hmm.
the
I
argument
mean,
could be made, I guess.
It could be made. It could be made. Never have I ever gotten mad at someone for not understanding the rules.
No, wait. There's like 3 negatives in that.
Yeah.
Never have I
Yeah.
ever not gotten mad at someone.
So you've gotten mad at someone for not understanding the rules. Have you ever
then,
gotten?
yeah. Okay.
My mother. She knows. It's fine.
Right under
It's
the
not a
bus.
secret.
Yeah.
Well, because it's become a running joke in my family. So much so that if they try to open a board game that they have not played with me,
Oh god.
and they do not live, we live in different states now. If they try and open a game that they've never played with me before, I will get messages from not just one, but multiple people at that table saying, what are we gonna do because Sully can't read the rules? And then they're all mad at each other because one of them tried to read it and then none of them listened and then blah blah blah. Like throughout the entire course of their game,
Yeah.
I'll be getting these messages. And every time that I sit, because I'm the designated rules reader, it is my mother and my sister, because they're like best friends. They'll be chatting the whole time, and then we'll get to the game, and they won't know how to play. I'll be like, "That's so funny! Like, how'd that happen to you?"
That's crazy.
Weird.
It's gotten to a point where like my dad is like, it's become like a running joke now. But yeah, they can't, and
What-
now they can't do it when I'm not there.
What drives me crazy is when, say we play not quite 6 hours, but like a 3 to 4 hour game, and in hour 4 we're still explaining a very
Yeah.
basic rule
No.
to you. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Like I was like, I'm gonna finish this game, and then we're never playing this game again.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is not a you game now.
Yeah.
That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'll get really annoyed with like, because I really like simple games. I hate being 4 hours in it and still not understanding the rules.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for me to just understand the rules anyway. So like, I really like playing simple games. So if someone doesn't get the rules
For your
for
yeah.
my games,
Yeah.
that's really saying something. Where they'll be like, a lot of times, they'll like the point of the game is normally like the person-to-person interaction, which is why I like a lot of the games that I like, which is less so on you versus the rules, it's you versus the other people. I love that. And then they'll at the end of the game, like someone will say like, "Oh, well, you know, I would have done that if I thought that was in," and I'm like, no takes backsies. Like, excuse me, there's no rule. You know the rules. There's only 3 rules in the whole game. So you can't be like, well, I would have done that if I
It's
knew
one
that
thing
was
if it's
allowed.
like we're playing like
oh my gosh.
like something just crazy or whatever. Like
Right,
like you're playing
right,
like a
right.
yeah. But if you're sitting there playing Uno reverse, like
Yeah,
or something
like,
like,
come on.
Yeah.
it's like nah, he
Hi,
played.
Colby.
I'm
Hi,
hiding in the
Colby.
cooler at work, dropping in to say hi to my friends. Hi, chat. Hi, gang.
Hi, Colby.
Hello, Colby. How's it going? Hiding in the cooler at work. Try not to get
Stay
a cold.
warm.
Yeah, try not to get a cold.
Be brave.
I literally text Colby all the time. I'm like, hey, yo, you want to hang out? He's like, I'm working today. And I text him exclusively only on the days that he's working. Every time. I think
You and Publix have the same mentality.
we really do. His manager texts me. He's like, Colby's in today. So, like, hit him up.
You
Hit
should
him up,
try.
Mike. Go for it. Now's your chance.
Okay, so we're gonna switch a little bit to D&D, Pathfinder kind of things.
Okay.
Never have I ever made a character purely for chaos.
Purely for chaos.
Yeah. I've seen people do that, and I have not.
I guess so. I mean, I've made characters that I knew were gonna be funny, and that's about it.
There's been several times where I play a game online.
This is
And
your MO.
I forgot we were gonna play a game online. So if we're doing D&D, I go to D&D Beyond and I hit the random character button and I go, "That's him," and I roll with it. There he is. That's my guy.
That's my guy right
I've
there.
definitely tried to make a character that was like just for chaos, but I cannot help myself when I get into a game and like, cause that character was, like she was so stupid. She was like an actual toddler. And it was this guy wanted to run an all evil campaign, and so I came in with a toddler with like a crazy. It was 5th edition, but we were using. It wasn't even an official class. It was a psychic thing. She could like blow people's heads up. Like she was crazy overpowered. I don't even know why he let me get away with this. Every bit that she had was like just stupid, whatever I wanted. And then at the end of it, we were all crying because I just can't help but like go for like the drama or like the character stuff or whatever. So then she got adopted by all these. It's like an evil orc and a warlock or whatever. Like, it's an all evil campaign.
Nice. We'll have to do that next man, John. I end up not. I try and build very normal characters, and then they go downhill.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens. It's like I start with a bit, and I'll be like, normal character. Yeah. And then a bit will happen, and I'll lean into it.
Yeah.
And then I go way too far.
Yeah.
And that's now my character. And I'm like, could you tone it down?
I will say, also for one-shots, everything's out.
Yeah.
I
One
don't
shots
care.
are
I'm not gonna have to do this again.
That's
like,
what one-shots are for.
Yeah.
But that happens a bunch. We had an old man in the Extinction Curse, which was supposed to just be a regular old tree. It ran downhill so far. Like, it was so bad.
Could not appear.
It's the same thing with the Abomination Vaults. My character on Abomination Vaults was just supposed to be a friendly little druid that happened to be a little bit like Hagrid. And
instead
devolved.
Yeah, it really did. I was supposed to it was supposed to be Yzma and Hagrid morphed together. Yzma from Emperor's New Groove, who's the best. Yeah. Her and Hagrid just morphed together. I just love little evil creatures, and that they need love too. And that was supposed to be the whole character. And things went so downhill.
You got really into centipedes for a minute.
It happened.
So far from
not what I was planning. So I do not make characters just for chaos. They just happen to turn out that way sometimes. And I have never enjoyed opening door with Dara, and that was not on purpose. That was a learned conditioning on I died several times, and then I never opened a door ever again. Okay, never have I ever cast Fireball.
Oh,
Sure I have.
I have never.
All day, every day.
I don't really play spellcasters.
I don't either, but sometimes I go out of my way to do it, and I know I've cast Fireball at some point in my life.
I tend to be the default spellcaster in a lot of groups that I run. Like, I play a game of D&D online with my family. I'm the only one online. They're all in person, because it started in person.
And then you moved away.
Yes. Well, and I taught all of them how to play 5th edition, so therefore I'm the spellcaster. A couple of them, I've like done it more, but like in the beginning, it was very harsh. I was the only spellcaster, and it's not necessarily that I was the only one with a spellcasting class, because I think we had like a bard, and one of them is a druid, I think, but I tend to end up in that category a lot.
Yeah.
We were talking about that with Aeons even, because AJ let us all blacklist a couple of things if we wanted to when we were doing the character creation, the very front of Aeons.
Yeah.
And not everybody, but many people said not a spellcaster.
Right.
Because they either didn't want to play it, or they had played one recently and they were tired of it, and I knew I was like, I'm gonna do a spellcaster again.
Well, and
which I don't mind. I do like that.
Yeah, well, it's also a bit intimidating. So I don't know if you guys know, but in Strange Aeons, they went in blind. So they had no idea what their characters were going to be at all.
Yeah.
And they had to discover it through book 1. So when...
Gosh, it was so cool.
Yeah, so you basically,
so
when
fun.
in character creation, basically AJ was like, what don't you want to play? And then I'll pick, something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, that's pretty intimidating to be like, I'm going to be a spellcaster, but I get no prep. Like, I don't get to read my rules.
Yeah.
I don't get to read anything.
Yeah.
So, like, I can absolutely understand why people were like, not
Not
that.
that. It was so real. It was so real.
But it was really cool.
Yeah.
Buddy and Lizard are my favorite Bryn characters. Thank you so much. I love those so much. I was pretty devastated when Lizard died. That was a rough time. But Buddy's still out and around kicking. We have his hat that might be used again, just for secrets.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so we have, let's see here. So never have I ever tried to seduce an NPC.
That's very funny. This is a very funny little ratio we have here.
Definitely 100%. It was an NPC when it started, and then we added somebody to the campaign, and they asked if they could be.
They said yes? Why was that allowed?
I don't know why we ran with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he inherited the character romance that I had started with.
fine.
It was just like a guard. There wasn't much to the character, but it was a guard. We were trying to get into. It was classic or whatever. And I asked if I could roll for my feminine wiles. I got like a nat 20 or something and got us into this room. And then he gave me like his address or whatever and a name. And then later our GM was adding a player and just used that hook to just put him in.
It's funny.
Just like, that's what you could be now.
I like it. That's awesome.
You know one thing. And it's
Every character I play is strictly, extremely asexual and is there to do what their goal is and nothing else. I don't ever want to romance my GM. That feels weird to me.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. There's Pepper.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you also have Pepper.
Yeah.
That was your whole plot.
Definitely. Well, I don't know if he tried to seduce her. Seduce is something that I don't know if Chip could do. He's too sweet.
That's what in the final season is what he'll learn how to do.
He learns how to seduce in the final.
That's his character arc.
Hang on until season 4. If you want to, oh my gosh.
We have, tangentially related to this, never have I ever rolled to seduce something I definitely should not have tried to seduce.
Seduce something you shouldn't
Still
have
the
tried
same.
to seduce?
What I said before.
That I don't think. I haven't done like the bard tries to seduce the dragon thing. I've never done it.
Did you? You've got yours. I
You
have.
have.
I have. Well, so there was a portrait of a very old lady. And she hopped out.
A portrait?
Yeah. And she was ancient. And she was hitting on me really hard. And I was like,
I'm into it.
I'm kind of into it.
See what happens.
And then we were like, oh, she's kind of a baddie. And I was like, kind of into it though. And then, but at the time I had a wife.
Oh my gosh, Bryn!
And I was like,
We get one hall pass. It's okay.
That's not your lead into the story. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had a pretend wife.
A pretend wife.
Oh no.
And not only that, I was like, so I have a wife, and she was much better at charisma character than I was, and I was like, you wanted to join, and I couldn't get the lady to let us join, which I thought was very chivalrous of me, by the way.
That's so funny.
Chivalrous.
Yes, trying to.
And people say chivalry's dead.
Yeah, right. I was trying to include my wife in things. I feel like that's pretty chivalrous.
My wife is gonna love this
funny.
portrait thing.
Yeah, and so anyways, I rolled like 20 twice in a row. So fortunately, we had the best time of our lives. I am incredible.
It was
at
fated
this.
to happen.
Oh my
It really
gosh.
It was
That's
so funny.
So funny.
It was a wild time. We we have a good time. Never have I ever created a character with a tragic backstory.
Oh, I mean, come on.
I don't think I have.
Really? Never? No tragic aspect to the backstory.
Not like the not that the point of my backstory was tragic. Normally I just have like regular schmegular guys that just do things. Like
I like to write a tragic backstory, but mostly because I've done this a couple of times in different campaigns. I really like to write the hook for a mystery and ask that the GM finish it, because I don't want to know the answer.
Gotcha.
So that it's like I can actually try and solve it. And I've done that a couple of times, where I'll usually do that almost in every, even if I'm not writing a direct mystery, like I'll put like a couple of things where it's like, I would love it if you would fill this in, so that I can discover.
That's a pretty good
I
time.
think Malevolence was Jumble's tragic backstory. I think that entire thing was his tragic backstory.
He came out of that a little worse for wear.
He came out mentally older than an 8-year-old.
Yep.
Oh, Jumbles. I still think about that letter at the very end.
There was a lot of parts that were really good. The Malevolence, if you ever want to go watch the Malevolence one, that is a really good one to watch. I think it's only...
It's 20 episodes.
20 episodes, which sounds like a lot. It's really not that much. It was
Podcast
really
it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It was so sweet.
It
It's always got my heart.
Let's see here. Never have I ever had an in-game romance that made things awkward in real life. I don't know if I have. I think I probably have.
I think maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. It
That's
wasn't
why you
like
don't romance in game.
That's exactly why you romance in games.
Easy.
What is even life without a little bit of awkwardness?
It's time for exploration.
I
think I definitely have.
Yeah, I think probably. Let's see here. This is similar to earlier. Never have I ever gotten into a real argument with another player over character decisions.
I'm not.
I don't think I have. No, actually that's false. I have gotten really annoyed with someone. Sully's thinking, what is this?
I'm trying to think. I think I have.
I think I have.
I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking through the games I've played.
I had another character in one of my campaigns that would steamroll one of the decisions of one of the other characters, and like as their character.
That's very similar to what mine was.
And I
I have been with that.
And I had an argument with them about it because I was like, it's not you're not the hero of the story. Yeah. Like, this is a team effort. I got really annoyed at that. So I have for sure.
I was the only girl in a group and it was a friend group where I was the only girl in the friend. There was one girl who would come every now and then, but in like the party, then I was the only girl. And one of like my best friends at the time was like the de facto leader of the party, but it was just very, very hard to be heard in that group sometimes. Yeah. And one time we really got in a tiff over it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have to do everything that I say, but you could at least listen to it.
Right. Right. It's happened quite a bit. Is there anything you can remember?
Oh, there was my friend Noah, his younger brother wanted to DM 5e for us. And I don't know how one of my other friends also got looped into that. So it was my two friends, one of the friend's younger brothers, and then that younger brother's like other two friends. Yeah. And that his two friends were just like obnoxious the whole time, and they just like kept repeating jokes that were said. Like I would say a joke, and then they would laugh at it, and then they would just repeat it at like every 5 minutes. And I would like and then in game they just actively like there was a fight we were in and they just didn't do it because they were like, we're trying to act cool. One guy said, I want to be like Joker from Persona 5, and I was like, I immediately hate you. It's like, look, Persona 5 is one of my favorite games. I immediately hate your guts. Like, I don't want to be anywhere near you.
We had a guy like that one time.
Wait. 1 second. How on earth? I've always played in almost all women TTRPGs. How? Where are you?
I have rarely played with another woman in the group.
Yeah, wait, aren't you in like Louisiana?
That is
The land with 3 women total.
Right? What the heck?
Okay, but that's genuinely difficult. Okay.
No, I mean, that's hard. That is hard.
Genuinely difficult.
No, that's why I was like, that's like, stop the
Outside
stream.
of-
What's happening?
Outside of my family group, which obviously is
Right.
gonna have like my mother,
Right.
my son. Outside of that, I don't know. I think that the first time that I ever played with another girl was when we played that series for a while.
Yeah, I think
I can't remember
probably-
the name. We were siblings.
Right.
But I think that was actually the first time that
Right.
in any game outside
Yeah.
of, I think, nearly.
Yeah.
Was when we did that Lost Pathfinder stream, were you on that or no?
It was
Like that one Pathfinder stream that we like didn't know that you had to have the VOD turned on for it.
You weren't.
You weren't. Okay, I just
Mm-mm.
remember.
There was. I think I was the only girl on that one.
Mm.
It's been very well, and even currently right now with like the 4 that we have on Strange Aeons.
Yeah.
That would also still be just one girl. It's hard.
Right.
It's actually hard.
It's very difficult to find.
You even shot
Hey, Cinder! Oh
King
my
of Floor,
gosh!
This sounds near mythological.
Right? Yeah, seriously.
It's
Cinder, how's it
actually-
going? I haven't heard. I didn't know you were still alive. What's going on around there? Are you still swimming?
Cinder lives.
Cinder
Iroke is on
lives.
too.
I'm like so jealous of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That would
Nebula,
actually-
that's you have something special there, and I would not waste it
Yeah.
because that's phenomenal. That is really, really phenomenal.
Dude.
Yeah, I ask how not because it's just because it's extremely rare.
No,
It
I'm
really is.
jealous. That's crazy.
I wrote said, "Oh my gosh, who are these people? Why are this?"
We
is
mentioned
like
a
the
women.
oldest."
We mentioned a women group,
Women
and
one
these men like were coming out of the woodwork. Now, what?
Oh my
People are in such
God.
shock they're coming out of hiding. I mean, they were in the witness protection.
Nebula, you're gonna have to go into hiding for how much?
People are
thank you.
subbing.
Thank you, Link, for gifting the sub.
You went. I still swim. I went from DMing to writing instead in talks with a few publishers.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, for my horror book. So that's so
Oh,
exciting.
that's really cool.
Yeah, send us over the book if you get things done because that sounds awesome.
That's super cool.
That's so neat.
That's awesome.
That's super, super, super cool.
Mm-hmm. Wait, we had a guy one time, kind of like your thing, where they were just like not fun players to participate.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
If somebody's actively ruining the vibe of a game,
Yeah.
I will call them out. Like, I'll be like, you're being you're being a jerk, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
We had a guy one time in a group. It was also in that first group that I ever played any TTRPG with, and he was like, it wasn't just even in-game issues, but it was also in-game. He was like really lewd, making inappropriate comments
Right.
about
Yeah.
players, two-player. There was constant issues with this guy, and one of the guys who were playing with us was his roommate, and it just became more apparent as the year was going on. He hated his guts. He hated his guts.
Yeah.
And he wanted to
Oh
try and
my
arrange
gosh.
to kill him in the game.
Oh, I thought I was like, wow.
No, in the game.
Okay.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft. And I don't think we ever did that plan, but we did get jumped at some point. Like the classic, like everybody was asleep at the camp, you all get jumped. And he got jumped really hard.
And got mega
And
dumped.
Least
Now, let
smart.
me be clear. This guy was truly problematic for so many reasons that I could not possibly go into on
Right.
stream. It was an issue. Comments were terrible. There was some serious issues, and we didn't do anything. But nobody really helped him. We just kind of did our sections of the fight, and he did die. And it's probably the worst thing I've ever done in my life. But at the same time, I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
They're
Oh no, we have to get rid of him? That character?
Look,
And
when I
then,
shake
no.
one of the players at the table, some might call it attempted murder, but I'd label it as getting into character.
Oh my god.
It's true.
I like it.
I have to get, that's how I get my accent back, because I have to stab somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know you were playing Malevolence either, Nebula. That's pretty cool.
Ooh! Yes, I did. I've seen this in the Discord a couple of times.
Method acting. Yeah, you are. Well,
That's
Manta
such a
always
fun
method acts. Manta is like an actual genius. He's so smart. It's a problem.
It's a
Did I ever tell? No, it is. It actually is. Did I ever tell you that AJ would come to? He's like, Do you think that Mancha read the series? Like, read the Pathfinder thing? And I'm like, there's no way. He's, like, Mancha's a great guy. And I'm like, no, for sure not. He just has everything prepared all the time for any situation. And he's like, how could he have that? And I'm like, because he's a genius. And he's like, there was one way to defeat a thing. And he was like, well, I just happened to have this in my pocket. And I'm like, I absolutely believe that. Because it happened all of the time, even from, like, random situations that were just, like, pop-up things. He's like, well, wait a minute. I think I heard of this one thing one time that might work. And we were like, this is why we have him. Because I was an idiot.
That's so funny.
I would just shoot. He would be like, shoot that thing, and I'd shoot that thing. So it was a great team.
Shoot that thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was great. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, well, this one doesn't really. This one we've already answered. Never have I ever killed another player's character on purpose.
I think that it probably qualifies.
We did just say
There
that.
was, listen. Is it my proudest moment? No. Would I take it back? I don't think I would either. There was a lot, we could not possibly get into it, but it was like,
Why didn't you guys just
if
stop
everybody
being
could
friends with him?
silently, well, we were trying. He would follow us around. And there was a lot of following. There was a lot of, there was sincere effort. But it's just, everybody kind of silently came to a decision in that fight that maybe we should just...
Imagine, he's like, you guys finished your fight, he's almost done, and all of you just hold hands and watch. You're just standing in like a half circle, just watching him.
It was so bad. Well, and it was made even worse because that guy really hated him so bad. So it was kind of like this stare down where he was like, don't help.
Yeah.
It was sort of like it was just an awkward situation all around.
Yeah.
That guy ended up, and this was mean. This was terrible. And he did it while he was still in the room.
We don't need to be canceled, Sully. What happened?
Well, the guy who sucked was playing a Dragonborn.
Okay.
And the guy who hated his guts, who was his roommate, was a chaotic, evil something. And it was like right after he had died. And we're going over to his corpse and we're doing like the whole scene or whatever. And the guy's like, I really could use a new pair of boots. The guy was still in the room. Like, we're all just like, what do you do? Like,
Oh my gosh.
He hated him.
Oroku kind of said it, and there's definitely times where you can tell a man has never interacted with a woman in their life and doesn't know how to handle it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple groups that I played with that we kind of had to make, like, a sort of, like, softer, unspoken rule. I mean, like, enforced, but that you could, like, the ladies should play ladies, the guys should play guys. Because I've definitely seen a guy play a girl in, like, a just no getting around it, super misogynistic fashion. Like, this is my impression of a girl.
Who doesn't do that is Marcus.
Marcus plays
great.
Oh my gosh,
Marcus plays Valia so good. He's not a problem at all.
I'm really sorry to hear about that, Nebula.
Yeah, I'm sorry about your dad, Nebula.
Her dad passed away in November.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
That is too bad. It is nice that you could share that with him though. It is first time playing D&D. Who's the GM? That's awesome. That's so adorable. Like, what a good memory. I really wish I could get my dad into D&D. So my dad, like, and no kidding, my dad's like the friendliest guy ever. If any of you have ever met him, he's like the best. He's super friendly, he's super outgoing. And he loves fantasy. He's read all of the Dune books, he's read all of the Sands of Time, he's read all the Harry Potter, all of the Lord of the Rings, all this stuff. He's super into it. And he rereads this stuff all the time. He loves it. But I don't think he could, like, he was, like, played football in high school and all this stuff. And it's just, like, such a nerd thing to him that I don't think he can get over it. And he's just...
That's the barrier. That's where it's too far.
He's, like, 74. So he's not really...
He's got 74 years without it. He doesn't need to start now.
I did introduce him to Zelda Breath of the Wild when he broke his foot, and he played that every single day. The timer on how long he would play it was how long until the controller died, because he had it on a stand charger.
Wow.
And that's how much he would play.
That's like a 9-hour charge.
I know.
That's crazy.
And then once once his foot healed and he could walk again, Mom gave me back. For a while. She was like,
take it away.
She's like, no more.
No more.
And I was like, that's fair.
That's really funny.
I really, I get that. That's fair. I've killed, I don't know if killed on purpose is really the right thing, but I have convinced GMs to let players die.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I think it adds so much to the level of interest of a game.
Yeah.
Like if you know your character's never gonna die, then there's a lot less intrigue in fights and building your character. Why do you even build your character? So like I've had a lot of times where I convince GMs in particular that I'm like, they died.
Yeah.
That's what happened. It's tough, but you have to let them die.
Yeah.
Like it is really tough. Unless something happened, like in Malevolence, I think my character ended up getting like 16 wheels in a row to try and save her life.
Yeah.
And like sometimes that
It's
stuff
true.
happens. But like for the most part, if a character dies, I really do like it because it creates growth in the group.
Yeah.
And like that kind of thing. The only time I kind of regret doing that is I convinced AJ to make sure that when Lizard died in Extinction Cursed, that I was like, no, he died and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that was really tough. That's the only one where I'm like, it would have been much better if he had stayed alive because he was so integrated in like the group and we never really recovered. My next character wasn't as good. So like it is what it is, but
I dread the day, specifically on the 2 shows that we're running right now. I really like my characters. I don't know what, and I've said this before, which I hate to say it, because I'm just gonna but I've never had a character die, my character die.
It would be real tough. Yeah, the downfall. Yeah.
No one else dies in the new one.
There was one death.
It's too good. No one else. Oh my gosh. I can't think of, there was one other player character that we let die one time, and it was in my family campaign. But we thought, and actually, I think that we'd made it oopsie, because I think that she was pretty mad at us. But it was my sister.
Oh no.
And she had introduced like a second character in this town who was a rogue and stuff and blah blah blah. But part of her I can't remember all the ins and outs, but a significant part of her setup made it seem heavily like she was gonna betray. Oh, it was something that she had been like stalking us and she was spying on us, but was trying to flip to our side. But it wasn't selling. And also my mom does not care. When she's playing D&D, there's no role playing. She's playing as herself. And so as soon as she came on, she's just like, oh no, she's not no, you're a spy. You can leave. Like she doesn't care at all. And I can't remember how it happened, but we definitely let her die. And we didn't realize until afterwards, because my sister was kind of upset about it. We thought that it was, because my dad will sometimes pull us into different rooms or whatever, or he'll work out something on the side. He's done some stuff with my mom where she's done basically one-on-one sessions to do backstory stuff.
Right.
We thought that my dad was trying to trick us with a sort of crafty thing, Eris is gonna play this character so that I don't have to play it because it'll be more fun, and she's gonna betray. We thought that was the lead up,
and we
had cracked it. No, it was the new player character that my sister was trying to introduce because she wanted to replace her current one.
Yeah,
and we totally killed her.
Yeah.
We were just we've solved your puzzle. We got it.
Right.
We totally, no, she was trying to switch her player character out, but we were like, well, you won't get us this time.
That's fine.
One step ahead of you.
I still cannot believe I created Selwyn to be unhinged and she was still the least insane person in the group. That's because you, as Zindern, have standards. And that gets in your way sometimes. So honestly, that's on you.
Those have gotta go.
Yeah.
The most chaotic character I've seen is my friend had made a little campaign for us where we, or like a 1 or 2 shot where we were like wizard cops. And my friend Zach had made a character that was chaotic, evil, like orc, and he just became a cop because he found out that they could have a gun. So he got it, and it was like there was a crime, like a bank was being robbed or something. So he's like, I know what to do, and he just like picked up a car and threw it through a wall. It was just like, I stopped the robbery. He's like, I did it.
I like it.
That's so
I like
funny.
okay. Never have I ever made a character who was way too similar to myself.
100%.
I feel like all of my characters are very similar to myself.
My first character was a self-insert.
But
I didn't know how to play
it's
yet.
a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think when this sounds like way too similar to myself. I don't think they were way too similar to myself, but it's way easier for me to play something that's kind of similar to myself.
It might become a problem if you don't know.
That's true. If you don't
you're
know,
unaware that it's a self-insert, because I've seen this case before where it's just like, this is telling us things that I don't know if you know.
Yeah. This is a very good look into your.
But
Baylor was just a human.
I always always suggest that like your first character in a TTRPG, just kind of like, who would you want to be in a fantasy? It's like the easiest thing to start with. It's like a really, really good start with. And most people do it because that's kind of like your inclination.
It's possible my first character was. I just don't remember who it was. But
first character
since then,
was just
I
a nice druid.
I just make weirdos. I just like making weird little guys for my
Yeah.
PCs.
My first character was Dara, who is an older retired military man who is generally pretty grouchy. And I'm like, I don't know if we're that similar.
I don't think that's me, but
I don't know. I like it's just a lot easier to have enough of me and the character.
Well, no matter what you do, at the end of the day, this is it's an acting thing. You're always going to have a portion of yourself in the character that you're playing because that's what makes it like a real person.
At one point, the group gets hit by a zone of anti-magic, and he turns into a chair. Turns out we were traveling with a sentient piece of furniture.
What? That's so funny.
His first character was Armstrong.
Oh my god.
Okay, so next week we're planning on doing character ideas that we wish we saw more, or like stereotypes of like things we love seeing and stuff. That is what I want to see more. That kind of imagination where you hold out. The problem with me is I can't like keep secrets. I get too excited about it, and then I'm like, "This is gonna be great. I should tell everybody." And then it happens, and then people are like, "We all already know." And I'm like, "Dang it!" Every time.
I let my baby sister we were doing a Christmas one shot, and she never ever played with it. She's not in the family game and stuff. I say baby sister. She was in high school when this happened, but she's the youngest one. And we were doing a Christmas one shot, and all she wanted to do, she was just like, "I'll play, but only if I can do this." And she wanted to be a potted plant.
See, that's phenomenal.
It was so much. We found
you play a potted plant?
Did I?
You played a potted plant.
Oh, wait, I did in a.
It was a birthday one shot for Riley.
Well, we also, you know who does that all the time?
Was the one shot for Riley or for Gary? Who ran it? Because it's whichever way it was, it's then the other one.
Colby loves the potted plants and little dolls and that stuff. He does.
I did play a potted plant.
It was Gary ran it for Riley's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was Gary ran it.
Okay. I was gonna say because whichever one it was, then it was the other one's birthday.
So
oh my gosh, I forgot about did he even have a name?
I don't know. I just remember you being excited, and I think you cast Fireball as the potted plant.
Gary gave me access to a bunch of wild magic, and basically that's what I did every turn. It was just like something he was insane. Like the spirit of magic that came to him for his birthday or something. It was something. He was like the spirit of birthdays.
We should do this for Halloween next year or Christmas.
Starfinder, where the party got my favorite thing I did for Christmas was a one shot. This was in Starfinder, where the party got drawn into an old corporated data disk with Christmas story. Corrupted. Data disk, thank you, with Christmas stories. At one point, they got into Home Alone, and I split the party in two groups, defenders and attackers.
That is such a good idea.
Really good.
That's funny.
That's really cool.
I did, and I'm not afraid to admit it, but none of my family listens to any D&D podcasts, any TTRPG, any of it. They're hardly online. They don't have social media. They're just very sheltered at home. So I totally ripped somebody else's Christmas one-shot from a podcast that I really enjoyed, because I knew that it was a really, really good one-shot, and I knew that they had never heard it.
Yeah.
So I was like, they were never going to listen to it. I was like, I'll just do it for them. I'll just make it for us.
Gary, I forgot that this was the ending to that one shot. Gary's, I had to base the entire plot around justifying why the potted plant could exist.
That's right.
And the villain was the potted plant from the future.
I forgot.
That's phenomenal.
You had found like a homebrew race for potted plant.
Yes.
It was just so you could basically be the piranha plant.
One that I would use for my baby sister later. So you can use this one.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, they
I forgot about that. That was so fun.
My first character was a lost merfolk bard princess. Back during the time when AJ was running Skull and Shackles first edition, my group was formed because AJ. That is true. He started actually quite a few groups.
Wow.
Skull and Shackles sounds like a wild time. I'm honestly really sad that I didn't see most of that, because it ends up being, there was like a lot of pretty petty deaths, I feel like, and those are my favorite. Is that because it's a pirate?
I was gonna say, it sounds like pirates.
So like it's all about like your own. They're all pretty selfish, and it's like, I mean, it's a pirate game.
Oh my gosh. That's
so it ends up being that there's some pretty petty deaths because they all want to be the pirate king, and honestly, it sounds phenomenal. It sounds so good. What was it? I had something for. Oh, okay. So AJ, when we were dating, all of my friends who are in the horse world, they don't even have laptops.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of the only people in the horse business that has a computer at all. They do all their stuff. They're like so they don't do tech things. And so he will take jokes from online and say them to horse people, and they're like, he's the funniest guy.
Oh my gosh.
And he'll take total credit for them because he's like, why not?
That's so
and
funny.
It is hilarious every time. Because he'll like say like some random like very well known, and it could be ancient. It could be like Steve Jobs way back in the day, and he'll take credit for it, and it's like they'll never know.
I did that.
They'll literally never know.
I did that in high school when we were doing poetry. We had to do haikus, and there was a meme for a while that was just, I love haikus. They don't even have to make sense. Refrigerator. Because that's 5 minutes of high. So I did that exactly. Really and like 2 days later, my English professor was like, I had to show this to everybody in the English department because we all thought this was hilarious. You did an amazing job. And I got like 100 on it. And she like was so stoked on me the rest of the year. I was like, you know what?
Out?
No, she never found out.
Yes!
I was like, this rules. It's like, I want to ride this.
That's so funny.
You know what? This is good for me.
I don't really remember the string of the giant frog, except for that she died almost immediately. Other than that, there was a string of Captain Deaths. I heard that as well.
A string of Captain Mutinies.
That's like the whole campaign. Like, it's like literally
like
the
an
whole...
epidemic.
It was pretty...
It's really going around, these Captain
Deaths.
Okay.
I remembered why we didn't stop hanging out with that guy. I can't believe I forgot this. It's because the GM was his other roommate.
Oh?
That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, you can't really...
It was not mad.
You're like stuck.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, well this is actually, that's a GM question. I'll wait for that. We're gonna have like a GM. Do you want to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Never have I ever let a player succeed on something ridiculous just because it was funny.
Oh yeah.
That's called being a good GM.
That's half of secrets.
That's called the rule.
I'll also let them fail on something just because it's
yeah.
I had one guy who I was trying to run a D&D campaign, and this was when I was actively teaching most of my family members how to play. And one of my cousins, and gosh, his character was so fun. He was playing a lizard folk, but he didn't look up any of the actual lore. He preferred to just sort of make up stuff as it came to him.
This GM.
And I didn't care about the lore either. His stuff was funnier, but he thought that he would ask to roll for everything. Because he thought that's like how you did it.
Right.
And for anything he asked me to roll for, I'd be like, you can, if you want. He asked to roll to like get out of bed. And then he would roll like a 2, and I was just like, dude, I think you're lost. That was my anything that he asked to roll for. I was like, you got
go.
I wasn't gonna ask him, be like, you can.
Go.
Now that you said it, you gotta.
Speaking of rolling for things, never have I ever bought. Let's see here where I got lost. What is it? Bought a special dice because they looked cool.
Yeah.
I think that's everyone.
Before we had like, obviously we have like the dice for the shows now and stuff like that, but I used to have one dedicated set of dice for each character, and I would get one that like suited the character.
Cool dice are cool.
I have like metal dice. I've got like purple, like spacey looking dice. I used to use a bunch. I tried getting one that looked like cheese from like an ad, but I got it and it looked horrible.
I saw those.
It was like the numbers weren't painted, so you can't read what it says at all.
I did see those online, and I was like, those look so cool. And then I read the reviews, and they were like, they're terrible, so I didn't get them.
Yeah, they were like $12. So I was like, I can take the hit.
I've got these one dice, they're called Stabby Stab dice that I got for my birthday from some friends. That are like clear with just like a tinge of like red, and there's tiny little gold daggers inside each one.
Nice. I thought they might be like really hokey, so you might pick them up and stab yourself, but that's fun too. I have the beholder dice. Those are really cool. Those are really cool.
That's fun.
I think I only have like 2 sets of dice. I don't want like a billion. Yeah, I don't want like a billion dice. I want a couple sets that are like really cool.
Yeah.
I got a Tiger Eye set of dice for Buddy. And then because I love Tiger Eyes, not for any other particular reason, but just I love Tiger Eye. And then I think Jen gave me another set of dice, and I really like them. And Jen knows what's up. She knows.
I can't remember the last time that
I
just use them here now.
I've got the Icewind Dale dice.
Oh.
Because like with that module for D&D, it had like it had like a box separate that you could buy that had dice and stuff in it. And I got those. Those dice look really nice. Kind of low quality, but they just look cool. So I count them.
Okay, Dickie. What about never have I ever? There's only 2 left. Just keeping that in mind.
What?
Never have I ever had an argument about game rules that lasted more than 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. That's half this.
If it's 10, that usually means that we're pulling out the book.
Yeah, wait, I have never.
I definitely.
I had it backwards in my head.
Definitely have. And I was usually right.
Come on.
Oops. So when you're the one who always reads the rules.
I now know so much of it because there's a group I play with. I'm still friends with them. I just don't play with them as much online. And a couple of them are very much like, it's this way. No, it's this way. It's this way. No, it has to be this way. And they go back and forth and they'll look at this book and they'll be like, well, this book actually raw does that. So they just keep going back and forth. So at the end of it, I now know what the rules are, so I can make proper rules later. But I have had to sit there for be like, yup, okay. We could just roll the dice instead.
Yeah.
I hate talking about rules.
Yep.
So I don't.
Fair.
It's great.
Yep.
I'm like, make a call and I'll follow it. That's fine.
Whatever you say, we do.
Whatever.
It's well, and particularly if you're playing, like Pathfinder or Starfinder, or it's like this is an imaginary game about an imaginary world with imaginary rule. Like nothing is here. There's nothing in front.
Well, if we're also counting board games in general, that like Magic the Gathering has like 20 minutes discussions on how to like properly rule something.
This is also why I'm really hesitant to get into Magic. I have nothing really against Magic, except for that it's just very rule heavy, and like I feel like every time I hear about it, it's a discussion on how the rules work.
Yes.
Instead of how cool the game is.
And
I'm like, that sounds terrible.
I stand by this. I like Magic now. But I stand by that your first 5 or so games of Magic will not be fun regardless if you will like it later. They will never be fun because it's just going to be
especially,
and you're going to be playing stuff and being like, does that do anything? And they'll be like, no, that's wrong. And then somebody over there will have like something huge because they already have been playing and they know how to do it. And you'll be like, it doesn't seem like mine does that. And it does, but you just don't know how to. It's like,
Yeah, the rules for Magic, I found the PDF recently because I was like, what does it actually look like? is 16 pages of like 12-point font, and it is like it is like the law of like subsection B category A. Like it is like here's where these very specific rules come into play, and like 90% of them you're not gonna use much, but it is like when you do come up, you're like, okay, well, how does this work actually?
Mm-hmm. I think that's life, Mancha. Life is less complicated than you think until you realize it's actually way more complicated than you think.
Oh yeah.
So I think that applies to everything all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say there's layers in Magic are the crazy part, because it's like there's so many rules stacking that happen that there is officially there you go, layers. there is when you're on the board, there is just an imaginary rules happening over here called the layers, and it is whatever is happening. It is so complex, and I've looked at it a bit, and it's AJ just hates Magic. It is so complex that it is like, if it is normally like, if you play this that says you can't do this, then you can't do this. But if somebody then plays something that says you can do this, now you can do this. That's the layer there, and it goes on and on and on forever. I hate layers.
This is like talking about Monopoly again.
Yeah.
Man, it's like the same thing. Okay,
I really hated Magic for a long time until I just started.
And
doing
what a
funny...
trooper!
Yeah.
So I just want
I was a
everybody to
trooper.
know
I
that
was a
Sully is
trooper.
a trooper.
I just found like funny, silly decks, and I was like, that's fine.
My
I found a
next
deck where I wouldn't care if I lost every game. I would just have fun on my own.
I made Sully an imaginary friend deck, and I made Sully some other silly ones. Like, I'm just making them silly.
If you're in the Discord, you saw the deck box I made for my
It's
imaginary
very
friend
cute.
deck.
It's very cute.
You should join our Discord.
My next deck is a land destruction deck. Isn't that like
Oh,
really
That's
no.
annoying?
taboo. He's saying that as a bit. It's
I was like,
taboo.
isn't that really annoying? I know nothing about Magic, and I've heard that's very annoying.
It's
That's only secondarily worse to counter or playing a deck that plays the enemy's deck. Yeah, those are the two things I've heard. I know very little about Magic, but all of those things seem true.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just go ahead and slap me in the face than sit down to a game about land destruction.
Anything that's like
personally.
anything that's built to like prevent you from having fun in the game is when it gets to the annoying.
Yeah,
part.
I
So,
don't
like
have
that
any.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any patience for that. That
Or
actually,
stacks.
that's probably the closest that I'll ever come to a rage quit. Would be if something like that
yeah.
started to happen in a game where it's just like,
Yeah.
well, like it seems like now the point of this is that I don't get to do basic functions that would just be considered playing the game. Then it's gonna be like then I'll just dip.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Spending 20 minutes explaining the difference between search for a basic land, search for a forest, search for a basic forest, and search for a land, and why they are different levels of useful. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are really selling it to me, honestly. I
Yeah,
feel
right?
like I should.
AJ scrolled up fast, but AJ
Here, hold
said
on,
it's
hold on.
hard to
Let
play.
me tell you the stuff that got me back. Corey just made me a little deck that has a little monkey prints on it that gives people bananas. Now you want to play again.
You know what I like playing? Hearthstone.
As AJ said it best, where it's very hard to get into Magic if you just play Hearthstone. Like
Well,
it's like
I don't
Hearthstone's
even
way more
play-
simplistic than
Yeah,
it's way streamlined.
I also don't play regular Hearthstone. I play Hearthstone Battlegrounds, which I love. I don't need a deck. It just builds itself. It's super.
There's a recent meta in Magic that if you play it, I will actually slap a person, where you play a commander / legendary that literally says exile a card in your opponent's deck. You can pay and play those cards with any of your
We
mana.
definitely have some stuff that does that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have one that does that. Don't you?
No,
Almost similar.
I'm building a deck. There's a new guy that came out that I like because I think he's kind of funny. It's the new Gonti, and it's everybody stealing from each other's decks. So it's like if like Bryn hit Sully, she could then take a card from Sully's deck, look at it, and play it later if she wants.
That one sounds fun. If everybody gets to do it, fun.
Yeah, it's like everybody's stealing.
Yeah, I agree
It's
with
funny.
the saying. I think we should do an all rage decks.
I've
Do
won.
I even have a deck that would be considered a rage deck?
You could steal one from,
No.
I think, Arcadis is building one.
I just got Cranko.
Arcadis has
I
100.
just got
Yeah.
Cranko, is that correct?
If you steal one from
Cranko wouldn't be quite it. Rage decks would be like
I don't think I
Arcadis.
have one.
Arcadis has like
At least
2
50,
Eldrazi
yeah.
decks.
He
He's
loves
got
it.
like
Arcadis
those.
is good.
I've
He
got
loves
like
it. It's
I've got like my O'Hare deck that people hate. Like there's a lot of
It's terrible.
there's plenty of decks we can find that people.
Yeah.
My mill deck. Like
It's
it's like yeah.
Colby said it's so much fun to watch everyone panic and kill me quickly. There was recently a game at
no.
Colby's house where I had like just the worst turn around the table that I think I've ever had. And also, I was getting sick. I felt it at the beginning of the, like, because when we got to the car, I was just like, I need to go home now.
Yeah.
I was like, and it turned out I was starting
now.
to run a fever during this game. You know that sort of like delirious, awful feeling that you get? And we're trying to play Magic.
Right.
Already
right,
difficult.
Right.
Now I'm sitting there like, I feel like the room is spinning.
Yeah.
And Colby was playing his Nekasar deck, which basically makes you draw a bunch of extra cards, but it also does damage to you every time that you do it. Like, that's the point of it.
Yeah.
And he just kept playing, like, game-ending card after game-ending card, and we were trying to remove it, and there was this one thing where it was like, you're gonna lose half of your life if you just start your turn. And it's going around, and everybody's trying to figure out how to undo it, and I'm shuffling through my cards, and I don't even know what it says anymore. It's a deck that Corey just rebuilt for me that I was very grateful for, but I didn't know what any of the cards were in it, and it's super complicated. And then our friend Zach was playing this deck that he made that makes you randomly attack somebody. And he literally pulls out a little wheel on his phone and he rolls it. And of course it's at me. And he attacks me and it's like a huge thing and I block, I do all this stuff. But then he does this in response, which was the fuck. It's like a card. Everybody kept explaining it to me. Over and over and over again. And I couldn't grasp it for my life. And then they kept saying, like, Sully, if you do it this way, you'll die. And I'll be like, all right, so I do it like this. They'll be like, no, then you'll die. And I felt like I was in an escape room in my own mind. It was like you had to bid life and everybody had to, and you had to go higher than some lower. It was so complicated. And I'm like literally shaking, trying to figure out how to stop all this stuff from happening. That when it finally got back around to me, I was playing Brea, which lets you sacrifice artifacts to ping people for damage, and I was so, I couldn't even see straight anymore. I was like, I just need it to stop. And I nearly destroyed my entire board just to kill Colby. Because I was just like, you just need to stop it. Everybody stop moving. I couldn't see.
I can't remember the name of the card exactly, but it's a mini game that you then play where everybody bets life.
God.
So it'd be like everybody has 40 life, right? So it'd be like you play it, Zach would play it, he'd be like, I bet 1 life. And then it would go to me, and I'd be like, I have to either bet more or I take that much damage. So whatever he bet.
Okay,
so then I would say, okay, I bet 5 life. Then we get to Sully, and she would either have to bet or take 5 damage. And it kept going around. So Zach slams it, it's like, I bet 20 life. He put it all on the line immediately. And it was like, whoa! Okay.
I was losing, I've never it was that kind of I'm starting a fever feeling where it's like, I feel like I'm drunk or something. I felt like I couldn't see straight. I literally just started counting things and I was just like, I remember because our other friend Sierra was just like, Sully, then you won't have a board. And I was like, I don't care. I needed to stop.
You're like, that's okay,
Somebody
guys.
Stop.
I have accepted that's how life is gonna be.
I've never felt so desperate. I was shaking.
There is a literal room mechanic in Magic, and it's fun. It's like an enchantment, and you get half an enchantment, then you can have an enchantment half the other later. It's just expensive, and if you play Commander, it's not the most worth it at times, unless you're doing an enchantment deck.
I just like funny decks, and recently I like pretty decks. Because I've discovered, I got one for Corey for Christmas, then I got jealous, and I got myself one.
Yeah, there's like 3.
No, I have 2. But if you go on Etsy, a lot of people on there will sell proxy decks, which are fully assembled because I don't like making decks anymore. I'm not good at it. And I've come to grips with that. That's fine. I just like playing. I just like silly decks. He'll make decks. He likes to do that all the time, so I don't have to.
Nerds.
I know.
Dang.
But they'll make you a deck where it all has it's all custom art, and it's then they all go together and they're really pretty.
Yeah.
So I just got a Krenko deck, and it's hot pink, and instead of an ugly little goblin Krenko, it's a sexy little mob boss lady Krenko who's still a goblin. And then all of them, they this hot pink. They all got shades. So it's now I could play for it. Now I don't care if I die. I've got these
We should do a tapped out where we have Bryn on, but she has the iPad. When you leave Walmart, it has the little button that says "How was your experience?" and it's got the happy faces. And it's as Bryn gets more annoyed, she just hits the button as it goes up.
This is great. This is terrible. There's no middle. It'll start great and then terrible, and then it'll be terrible for the rest of the time.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, never have I ever still been embarrassed about something that I have done in a board game or TTRPG.
I mean, there's definitely stuff that keeps me up at night. I think about things I did in middle school all the time, but specifically in a board game?
Or a role-playing game or whatever.
Also, I have one where it was some online friends, and this was at a time when we were in UGT where we had a lot of shows going on. It was in the middle of Malevolence, and I think I was doing Secrets at the same time too. So I was just like really burnt out of doing TTRPG, where I was like, this is too much. So we were playing online, and I just kind of muted myself, and I just played Call of Duty while like they were going, and I would unmute when I needed to, and then mute again. And I felt a little bad because my friends really wanted to play, but I just didn't.
Right.
So I should have just said like, I can't.
Yeah.
So that's my shame and my apology as well.
Yeah. I did, so I played Buddy for a while. Like a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I stopped playing Buddy for horse scheduling reasons. I'm not exactly, I can't really remember sure. But, and then I started playing him again for the last book. And I had to catch up on my Pathfinder thing to get him up to level 20 or whatever it was. I don't even know what level. It was really high. It was really high level.
Closer to 20 at least.
And I forgot all of how he worked. I had zero memory about how Buddy ran. And so we were doing a at-home session 0 basically, trying to get him leveled up.
Yeah.
And they were like, I was in this room with all these like people who have been playing the whole time. And it was, what happened?
He threw his thing.
No. I didn't throw it.
This is a delicate straw. This is literally
Why'd you
a
call
magic
attention
straw.
to it?
So anyway, so I was arguing what I thought the character's mechanic was when I was playing, but I had just misremembered it. And I, like, it was one of the times where I didn't, and I was like, what? No. And then I had to get Nick to explain it to me because Nick knows how my brain works.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, just ignore this whole part and only focus on these 3 words. And I was like, oh yeah, right. That's how it works. I remember that now. But I didn't for like a while where I was like, I'm pretty sure this is how it works. Look at all these words.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Paizo loves putting words in there. They
put
love
so many
putting words in
and
stuff.
I just totally forgot how the character works. And then eventually I did figure it out. But like, oh my gosh. It did take... It took some serious... AJ tried to explain it to me at least 45 times. And I just didn't get it. And then Nick was like, here, let me use small words for the little baby. And I was like,
here's
one
syllable words.
Like, I really appreciate Nick. That's how my brain works. Like, you really do have to simplify it. And I'm just like sitting over here like, oh my gosh. This is my own character. I played him forever. And I still didn't know how it was going. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot.
I think I definitely, I was definitely embarrassed for a while. Sometimes I'll think about, this is actually it's to do with the romance that started with, it was an NPC, and then they brought in that guy later. Because I did have my boyfriend also at the time playing with me, and I knew that he really wanted to do a character romance with my character. And while it was like a little embarrassing in hindsight because it was just like, well, now I'm romancing somebody else in the party, and I basically told him I don't want to romance your character. But at the end of the day, his character sucked. Well, and the other one was like a really cool hot rogue. I was like, why?
Not only that, but like having. So, like, this is a game where, like, things happen. So, if you're playing... There's a problem with playing yourself in the game. There's doubly a problem playing your relationship in the game.
Well, and his character had... He was playing, like... This, like...
It's really like a weird self-insert, like a power fantasy self-insert, too.
He was playing, his character's, like, the base of his character's personality was that he was being friend-zoned by my character. And so that he made him into,
what a horrible base.
Like, kind of such a loser. He sucked so bad. So I was like, I don't want to romance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, am I going to go out with this incel or go out with this cool rogue guy
this guy's playing your character that's hot.
who's got a house or something?
That is kind of rough.
It's one of those things that sometimes I'm embarrassed about thinking about because it definitely led to awkward situations later. But at the end of the day, I don't think I would. There was no way that I was gonna romance that character.
Okay.
And just because we were dating, like, sorry, I'm not gonna. Even if you rolled up with a character or whatever, I wouldn't romance it just because you wanted me to.
Well,
like,
but like,
I'm
okay,
gonna do
so
what I
Cinder-
think would be
Cinder,
right.
That's
Cinder,
different.
yeah.
That's like way different. Not only have they been married for 15 years,
Oh,
but it sounds like there's a character relationship forming naturally.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
the thing
it's
they get,
different. Yeah. It's different when it's like, can your character suddenly be attracted to my character? Because I think it'd be cool.
I'm not. I don't
Like-
do romances on request. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't.
You gotta pay a lot of money.
yeah.
You gotta earn
that. No, but really, like, I will never, ever, ever dedicate myself to a character romance that I don't think would be right for the character.
Yeah.
And it was never gonna be right for the character. The guy sucked. His character did, not the guy that I dated. Sorry.
I don't ever want to do a romance as a character, and I don't ever want to do a romance with a person at the table with me
The
too.
next
Like, there's like
time
so
we
many
play
layers.
together, I'm gonna hit on you so hard for the whole campaign, and that's gonna be the whole bit.
I'm gonna play a
If you win
priest.
me over,
I'm gonna play a priest, and I'm gonna just throw a
You know
cross in your face.
That's great. It'll turn me on.
that's great.
But even if it's replanned, it's different when it's like a long-term comfortable with each other kind
Right.
of thing. Like, I did already
Well,
do that
and
as
on the
trigger.
same page.
I hit on Cinder
like
nonstop
planned it
for,
on
like,
the same
ever.
page. It was one of those things where he really wanted them to be a couple, and I did not want them to be a couple.
Yeah,
It was like
right,
it's
right,
so it wasn't
right,
gonna
right.
happen, and I
Yeah.
definitely led to some awkward times.
Yeah, poor little
But-
Cinder over there.
Yeah.
You know, well,
Sorry,
I
man. You gotta make a hot character if we're gonna romance. I don't know what to tell you.
Right?
Yeah.
You really do.
He was like a really bad cleric.
Well, yeah. Okay, so AJ complained about that nonstop. Is that he ended up having, he's always the GM.
Yes.
And so he would have to romance all of the characters to his buddies. And so he'd be like, oh, yes, this is your wife. You're coming home to your
He's
wife after 5
good
years.
at it.
I
too.
know.
I'm sorry,
You're
some
coming
of the
home to your
scenes
wife
between
after
him
5
and
years.
Kevin in Strange Aeons, I was sitting there like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah. He was so excited. He's like, oh my gosh, I cannot hit on like my guy friends of like 13 years and I can actually hit on my girlfriend at the time. Like it was a really growing moment for him.
He's gotta stop being too good at it.
Right.
There were some moments in Strange. There were some heavily, like, just genuinely the most romantic thing I've ever seen kind of scenes in Strange Hands between Kevin and Kate. And I used to sit next to Kevin, so the whole time I'd be like, just like, dang. It's like, Kevin's like really rizzing AJ up right now. Like, I was like, I'm gonna start blushing. I was like, maybe it's real.
It's also funny that the character that I ever had that AJ would ever flirt with was Buddy's wife, who took no crap from anybody. And she would constantly yell at Buddy for, like, getting his act together. She was like, you need to get in shape. What are you doing? Because he was kind of an airhead.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Honestly, that flirting, I don't even know if that really counts. Oh, I guess the old lady. We did flirt.
Yeah.
The old lady when I was
with the
romancing
paintings.
the painting. So technically we did a lot of flirting with that.
I
And
think
he was
Pepper is my first NPC romance.
oh my god.
Outside, I mean, there was like the off, like the flirt with the one that turned into the whole thing. But I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, and even that
I haven't done many romances.
Yeah, I don't do many romances either. But this was like what you wanted for the character was for him to like.
Yeah, it was a big part of Chip's concept. Was I thought that it would be really cool to represent his like desire and adoration of like what it is to be human and like wanting to be human. So I thought it would be cool to represent that through like him like having a romantic interest, like this, oh my gosh, and she's so amazing and she reminds me of everything that like to kind of like is sort of like a metaphor for the yearnings of his heart to be a real boy. But I never thought that you would actually let me romance her. I thought that it was going to be like a sort of pining, sort of like it was going to be very representative.
Well,
I
she
did
was
not
super
expect
hot,
to actually
so-
get
She's
to
super
actually
hot.
get a girlfriend, dude.
Me and Corey talked a lot about where he was like, yeah, and you need to make the girlfriend for Sully.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna make the hottest girlfriend.
Dude.
Oh, it's for Sully? Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
I was like, Sully needs to pull. Like, this is gonna be good.
Okay, if you remember Winter, the cleric at the start of Strange Dance, multiple players tried to get with her in our playthrough of it. I remember when she came on screen, I was shocked that none of the guys tried to get with her. I was like, she's hot. I was like, if I was playing like that,
Yeah. Yep.
all bets off.
Yeah.
That is the least surprising thing. I'm still surprised that nobody romanced Winter. It's because she didn't let us in. At the end of the day, she didn't let us in to the barricade in the asylum.
Nor in her heart.
Or in her heart.
That's
And I never got over it.
Yeah. I think
I rolled for lesbian.
That's really funny.
I don't know.
Winter gives me the chills!
So this is Zindern,
That's
by the
really
way.
funny.
This is
That's
all
really
he does. he whatever it was, Armstrong, where he literally did only puns. Probably, I've never met Zindern, but I assume that's what he looks like in real life. That's what I'm gonna guess. Well, sweet.
Cool.
That is our entire show.
That's it.
Of Never
That's the
Have I
show.
Ever. At some point, we're gonna do a Never Have I Ever. How dare I wasn't insulting your craft. I was just explaining that that's who you are as a person.
It was
And
a
there's
compliment.
it was a compliment. It was just an explanation on this happens all the time, IRL, in real time. So there's hardly ever when we were playing was it like a 3-minute later pun. It always happened instantly in the moment, which I find very impressive. Because I will say
Marcus
something.
is a silent killer when it comes to puns.
Marcus is that too, yeah.
Well, what's also funny is that I speak regularly and normally not very eloquently, as you can tell. And Zindern would be like, hey, like I had said something, and I'd be like, and I have no idea what I said to make it funny.
Oh, that's funny.
It was very funny. Anyway, he's very good at it. But at some point, we're gonna do another Never Have I Ever with just GMs. In Never Have I Ever, like, fudged a roll to kill someone, or Never Have I Ever hated a player, so I killed them off, or Never Have I Ever.
They're all killing based.
Those are the ones I can remember at the moment. But there are more ones, and they're pretty cool. So at some point, we're gonna do that. We'll hopefully give you more. What is it? Preface. What is it? Where you like. We'll give you a heads up.
Heads up. We'll let you know before minutes
we'll give you
before.
preface.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. Hopefully, we'll give you more of a heads up for these, but maybe not. And in case we don't, then you should just show up on Tuesdays and hope for the best.
Tuesdays at 7. We're gonna be here regardless. So
We'll do something.
Yes.
And also next Monday, again, Secrets miniseries starting. Starfinder miniseries, 1st edition. It'll be
Drop your
good.
favorite class in the chat. I need to make a character.
Comment what your favorite Starfinder is, and we'll say something.
The favorite star that you've ever found.
Solarian. There you go.
I really
The
do
Aster.
think it would be great if we did do, because I think it'd be really interesting. Never have I ever fudged a roll to kill a player, because like I want to know. I want to
Never
know
to
that.
kill.
Never
to kill. I think that
it would be great if there was one.
I think
though.
that I've saved somebody from a crit before.
Yeah.
I think that
That's
there's
because you're
definitely
very
been
nice.
a time where I've been like, this feels...
You know, I fudged rolls, but then I regret fudging the rolls. Where
Yeah,
I'm like, I should
right.
have just let
You
the
should've
dice
just
do
let
its
it-
thing. The
Some
dice
of the
know.
some of the times the dice really do like make.
I was tempted
Yeah.
many times. 100% tempted many times during Malevolence to fudge a roll. Because I was back there, and I bet that everybody, without spoiling Malevolence, there's no way that you guys don't know which episode it was.
Well, I would
Because
think
there was the one that went so bad.
there was a couple. Yeah,
That
there
was
was
a
some
funny
that was
one.
bad.
And I didn't want to kill the kid. That was it. At the end of the day, I was just like, how am I gonna do that? And I didn't, but I was very tempted.
There was also ones where I wish I could fudge rolls for other people. Like our poor little Riley and her dissing.
Oh,
was
God,
so
love
Her
her.
bon mots.
bad.
God,
And I was
love
like,
it.
I would just say it past. Like, just say it.
Just
Like,
say
at
it,
this
just
point,
do it.
it's okay.
It really worked this time.
Like, honestly, just
Oh
smudge
my
it.
gosh.
It's okay. It's been 30.
It wasn't even like, I don't think her stat was low in it.
No,
it was
no.
truly just the
She
roll.
rolled
She was a
like,
good-
I think she passed the roll like 3 times.
Ever.
I don't know if it was even that.
I don't
to
even
be
know.
honest with you.
It was rough.
It
And
was probably
it was-
low. Oh my gosh.
It was just terrible. And honestly, she'd think a lot about her.
Oh, this
Retort.
curse follows her.
Yeah.
Because it happens in Starfinder. There's like a running joke on Starfinder.
Ah.
The longer that Riley describes something,
Yeah.
the worse her role will be.
Yeah.
And the more that she
Yeah.
wants it, guaranteed
it's
it's going to be
gonna
under 5.
near the finale. She would start and go, hang on, and then roll the dice, and then it would be high. And she's like, okay.
Let me continue.
Oh god, it's so true. It would happen all the time to her.
But I would love to know that stuff. Like, from a player's perspective, I've never DM'd. I don't really have any interest in it. But, like, it would be great, even if we didn't know the whole story, to see, like, have you, though? Have you, though?
If you have ideas for Never Have I Evers, so put them in our Discord. You can join
Yeah.
our Discord. It's in the links and everywhere. Like if you're watching on YouTube, the description. If you're watching on Twitch, currently, if you scroll through the chat, it's right there. It says
Yep.
Kofi. That's all of it.
Yep.
So join our Discord. We are very active in there, and it's a fun time.
Yeah, and then we'll do a GM one next. So if you have any questions you think you want to know, we try and be pretty honest up here. So
Yeah.
whether or not we'll tell the whole story and the names of the characters may not happen, but at least we'll say we did it.
We'll acknowledge.
Yeah. Exactly. But thank you guys for hanging out.
Thank you guys for joining. If you like us, follow us at UGT Show on every social media. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon and Ko-fi. You can follow for $5 a month. It gets you access to everything in post shows. It's a good time.
Yep.
And I have to go walk away to hit the end stream button. So these two are gonna wave you goodbye.
It's the
Goodbye,
part of the
everybody.
show
We're
where
gonna
Corey
wave.
walks
We're waving.
away.
Look at how tiny Sully's hands is, by the way.
Hey.
Like, look at
Hey,
that.